Hi everyone. So we'll be starting with a new chapter, that is human reproduction. It is a very important chapter from your exam point of view. All right, so all of you know what reproduction is, right? An organism is going to produce the young ones of the same kind. Now, when we talk about reproduction, reproduction is, not a obligatory process. An organism is not going to die if an organism does not reproduce. Okay, it is not important for the basic living of a particular organism. The importance of reproduction is that it is important for continuation of species. If a particular species does not reproduce, then in that case what is going to happen? Extinction of that particular species is going to happen. So to make sure that continuation of species is happening, reproduction becomes very important. Okay, so in this particular chapter we will be focusing on human reproduction. So first let's see that what all things we'll be talking about. See, the first important thing that we'll be talking about is, of course, the reproductive system. We'll be talking about the male reproductive system. We'll be talking about the female reproductive system. We'll be talking about gametogenesis. Now, what is this gametogenesis? See, we all know that what are gametes. I will quickly write here. What are gametes? Gametes are reproductive cells, right? Gametes are reproductive cells. We also call them sex cells. Okay, so formation of gamete is nothing but gametogenesis, right? Formation of gametes. So here we will be talking about formation of male gamete and formation of female gamete. What is a male gamete called as? A male gamete is called as sperm and a female gamete is called as ova. So we will be talking about spermatogenesis and we will be talking about oogenesis. Okay, this is a very important part of the chapter. So these are the two things that we'll be talking about here. All right, male reproductive system, female reproductive system, and then we'll be talking about gametogenesis. Then we will be talking about menstrual cycle, a very important event which is happening. Then fertilization and implantation. Now, what is fertilization? Again, a very simple but important definition. What is fertilization? How do we define this? It is fusion of gametes. It is nothing but fusion of gametes. Okay, here in this particular picture, you can clearly see that how, these green sperms, they are fusing with the female gamete. So this process here is what? Fertilization. What is implantation? Once the process of fertilization is done, a structure is formed. Okay, cell division happens and a structure is formed which is called as blastocyst. So that blastocyst is going to embed itself in the uterine wall, and that is nothing but implantation. So here I am going to write the definition of implantation. What is implantation? Blastocyst embed in uterine wall. ठीक है, यूटरस का जो वॉल होता है उसके अंदर the blastocyst is going to embed itself, and that is called as implantation. All right, the next thing that we will be focusing on in this particular chapter is pregnancy and embryonic development. Once the fertilization happens, zygote is formed, right? The diploid structure, the unicellular structure zygote is formed, and then cell division starts in that zygote. Okay, and then from there we are going to see how the embryonic development happens. All right, and then we will be talking about parturition and lactation. All right. Now, starting with the first part, ability to reproduce young ones of the same species. What is this? This is nothing but reproduction. All right, we have already seen the definition of reproduction. Humans are, this is a very important line, humans are viviparous they are unisexual and reproduce sexually, right? Mode of reproduction in humans is sexual reproduction. They are viviparous. What is the meaning of viviparous now? They give birth to young ones. Okay, they give birth to young ones. And then unisexual, of course, the sexes are separate. There is a male, there is a female. Okay, so these are the important points. Now, talking about a little bit introduction about the organs. So here we'll be talking about primary sex organ and secondary sex organs. What are primary sex organs? Primary sex organs are the ones where gamete formation is happening. ठीक है? So इसको understand करते हैं. Primary sex organs, what are they? Essential organs which form the gametes. Alright, here what is going to happen? Here the gamete formation process is going to happen. So if we talk about the primary sex organs, the primary sex organs in case of male and in case of female. In case of male, it is going to be testes, because here what is happening? The formation of the gamete is happening. And what are primary sex organs? Where or which are going to form the gametes. And in case of female, it is going to be ovary. Alright, let's move further now. See, in males, the gamete formation organs are what? They are the testes. Important. Alright, next. See here, a beautiful diagram of testes is given. We are going to understand this entire structure as we are going to, proceed further in this chapter. Alright. In females, the corresponding organs are ovaries. That means we are talking about the primary sex organs of the females. Alright. See here. What are these? These are nothing but ovaries. One on the right side, one on the left side. Alright. Now, the male gamete is spermatozoa and the female gamete is ovum. So, this is also something that you have to remember, right? Sperm and ova, that's what we have been learning since the beginning, right? Now, moving on to secondary sex organs. So, what are these secondary sex organs? These are the organs which form the passage of the gametes. देखो, primary sex organ के अंदर क्या होगा? Gamete formation होगा. अब उन gametes को रास्ता देना पड़ेगा, right? A passage has to be provided. So, for that, the secondary sex organs, they come into the picture. The organs form the passage for the gametes to help the union of the male and female gamete. See, ultimately क्या होना चाहिए? Ultimately fertilization होना चाहिए, right? So primary sex organs में gamete का formation हो रहा है and secondary sex organs are doing what? They are helping in that union of the male and female gamete. तो वो एक रास्ता बनाएंगे, ठीक है? These organs, what are they doing? They are forming the passage for the gametes. Important. Alright, so see, in case of male reproductive system, we'll be talking about male reproductive system, we'll be talking about female reproductive system. In case of males, epididymis, vas deferens, and then prostate glands, seminal vesicle, bulbourethral glands, and then lastly penis. What are these? These are secondary sex organs. They are going to help in the process, okay? Now, similarly, in case of females also, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, the vagina, the Bartholin glands, the Skene's gland, these are all what? These are again secondary sex organs which are providing a passage, which are helping in the union of the male and the female gamete. Alright, now next very important part, development of the sex organs. Okay, so let's have a look. So during intrauterine life, when is the development of the sex organs happening? During intrauterine life, testes and ovaries, they develop from mesoderm. This is very important. ठीक है, इस पे क्वेश्चन भी आता है, कहाँ से डेवलप हो रहे हैं? They are developing from mesoderm. All right, now they develop an abdominal cavity, and at the time of birth, the testes, they descend down into the scrotal sac, but the ovaries, they remain in the abdominal cavity. A very, very, very important point. अगर तुम लोग को याद हो, छोटे क्लासेस में जब भी टेस्टिस के लोकेशन के बारे में हम लोग बात करते हैं, तो हम लोग बोलते हैं दे आर लोकेटेड एक्स्ट्रा एब्डोमिनली. कैसे लोकेटेड है? एक्स्ट्रा abdominally. So what is happening in case of males? The testes, it descends down. देखो development start हुआ है abdominal cavity में, but at the time of birth the testes, they are going to descend down, they are going to move out of the abdominal cavity in a sac like structure which is called as scrotal sac. What are we calling it as? Scrotal sac. सब चीजों के we are going to see the diagrams. You are going to understand this very nicely. All right, so this is a very important point. Ovaries जो है वो abdomen में रहेंगी. Testes, they are going to descend down. कहाँ से derive हो रही है? कहाँ से develop हो रहे हैं? The gonads, the organs, they are developing from mesoderm. All right. Next. Now, this is a very important part directly given in NCERT. What are the events of sexual reproduction? The sequence of the events of sexual reproduction in humans. First, gametogenesis, formation of gametes, right? We've already seen what gametogenesis is. Second is insemination. Now see, the gamete formation has happened, right? Male gamete has formed, female gamete has formed. Now the male gamete, it has to be transferred into the female genital tract. So how is it done? It is done by the process of insemination. All right, what is insemination? Transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. Next is fertilization, right? Once the transfer has happened, what is going to happen? उसके बाद fertilization होगा. The male and the female gamete are going to fuse. Important term. And as a result of fertilization, what is going to form? Zygote is going to form. All right, zygote is going to form. Zygote कैसा होता है? Diploid होता है, right? Our gametes, अगर हम sperm की बात करें, the ploidy here is going to be N. Ovum की बात करेंगे, the ploidy here again is going to be N. That is, they are haploid. They are going to fuse and they are going to form the structure called as zygote, and this zygote is diploid. ठीक है, कैसा है? Diploid है. Next is implantation, right? Successful fertilization has happened. ओके, zygote बन चुका है, अब उसके अंदर सेल डिविजन स्टार्ट होंगे. फिर वो एक स्टेज पे रीच करेगा जिसको हम बोलेंगे ब्लास्टोसिस्ट, एंड दैट ब्लास्टोसिस्ट इज गोइंग टू अटैच, इज गोइंग टू एम्बेड इन द यूटराइन वॉल, एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज implantation. Development of blastocyst and its attachment to the uterine wall. This is implantation. Successful implantation हो चुका है, pregnancy has been established. Now next is gestation, embryonic development. What is gestation? The period of embryonic development from conception to the birth. All right, so these are the major events. All right, and the last part is parturition. What is parturition? Delivery of the baby, right? Once the development of the baby is complete, what is going to happen? The baby is going to come out, right? Now it is question time. So whatever we have seen in this particular lecture, उस पे based हम लोग कुछ questions करेंगे. So the first question is delivery of the developed fetus is termed as. अभी हम लोगों ने देखा था, right? देखो options क्या है? Ovulation है, abortion है, oviposition है, parturition है. अभी in the last slide only we had seen the definition of parturition, right? So what the answer is going to be? Parturition. The delivery of the developed fetus is termed as parturition. Okay. Next part. Next question. इम्प्लांटेशन इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ, तो इम्प्लांटेशन के बारे में भी हमने बहुत अच्छा डिस्कशन कर लिया है. इम्प्लांटेशन क्या है? एग मूवमेंट, नो. डीजेनरेशन ऑफ एग, नो. एग फर्टिलाइजेशन, नो. अटैचमेंट ऑफ ब्लास्टोसिस्ट, ब्लास्टोसिस्ट वर्ड दिखा और हमने ये आंसर मार्क कर दिया, राइट. अटैचमेंट ऑफ ब्लास्टोसिस्ट टू द यूटेराइन वॉल इज नथिंग बट इम्प्लांटेशन, राइट. So our answer is clear here. Let's talk about the next question now. Egg implantation is followed by, अच्छा देखो अब ये वाला कहाँ से है? जो हमने इवेंट्स देखे थे वहाँ से इम्प्लांटेशन हो गया है, राइट. सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लांटेशन हो गया. अब इसके बाद क्या होगा? डेवलपमेंट होगा. तो उसके लिए हमने जो टर्म देखा था वो था जेस्टेशन, राइट. जेस्टेशन देखा था. पार्चुरेशन नहीं होगा, डिलीवरी ऑफ द बेबी. कॉपुलेशन नहीं होगा, फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं होगा. फर्टिलाइजेशन क्या होता है? फ्यूजन ऑफ द मेल एंड द फीमेल गैमीट्स, राइट. नहीं होगा. आंसर क्या होगा? जेस्टेशन होगा. ऑल राइट, नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. द प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन इज नोन एज, तो देखो जब हमने प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन्स की बात करी थी सो व्हाट वर प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन्स? किनको हम प्राइमरी सेक्स ऑर्गन्स बोल रहे थे? जहां पे गैमीट फॉर्मेशन हो रहा था, राइट. हियर व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग? गैमीट फॉर्मेशन वाज हैपनिंग. ऑल राइट, नाउ दिस गैमीट फॉर्मेशन मेल्स के अंदर, इन केस ऑफ मेल्स इट हैपेंड इन टेस्टिस, ठीक है. एंड इन केस ऑफ फीमेल्स it happened in ovaries. All right, and testes and ovaries together, what are they called as? They are called as gonads. ठीक है, क्या बोलते हैं इनको? gonads बोलते हैं. Answer, gonads. Primary sex organ is known as gonads. Regulate blood volume and composition, no. Synthesize glucose, no. Regulate blood pressure, no. Answer is clear, gonads. All right, moving on to the next question. Gametogenesis is formation of. Simple. Genesis means बनना, formation. ठीक है, आंसर क्वेश्चन में ही छुपा हुआ है, गैमीट्स. आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? गैमीट्स. अब देखो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी हो सकता है अगर हम सारे ऑप्शंस ना पढ़ें. हो सकता है यहाँ पे ओनली स्पर्म्स जो है वो फर्स्ट ऑप्शन दिया होगा और जल्दी जल्दी में हम ओनली स्पर्म्स मार्क कर देंगे, ठीक है. तो ओनली स्पर्म्स और ओनली ओवम नहीं है. गैमीटोजेनेसिस इज अ जनरल टर्म फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ गैमीट्स, इसीलिए आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? गैमीट्स हो जाएगा. ओके, सो क्वेश्चन हमेशा हम लोगों को बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना है. Next, talking about, now moving on to the next question. Testes and ovaries they develop from. मैंने जब ये वाली बात डिस्कस करी थी that time also I had marked it that this has been asked as a question. ठीक है, तो टेस्टिस एंड ओवरीज किससे डेवलप होते हैं? मीजोडर्म से डेवलप होते हैं. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, याद रखना है. ऑल राइट, तो आंसर बहुत सिंपल है, क्या हो जाएगा? मीजोडर्म हो जाएगा, राइट. नाउ moving on to the next question. At the time of birth, testes descend down into the scrotal sac, but ovaries they remain in the abdominal cavity. जब हमने डेवलपमेंट की बात करी थी मैंने वहाँ पे ये चीज़ बताई थी, राइट. टेस्टिस क्या करेंगी? टेस्टिस का लोकेशन क्या होता है? एक्स्ट्रा एब्डोमिनल होता है, वो डिसेंड कर जाती हैं. ऑल राइट, एंड दे आर गोइंग टू मूव इनटू स्क्रोटल सैक, बट ओवरीज जो हैं दे स्टे इन द एब्डोमिनल कैविटी. तो ये स्टेटमेंट बिल्कुल सही है. What is going to be the answer? The answer is going to be true. All right. Now